Bawat araw, tayo'y humaharap sa mga nangyayari sa lipunan. Mga pangyayari na nakakaapekto sa ating lahat. Mga pangyayari na kailangan tayong makialam. Kaya nabuo ang programang ito, Issue 101. Tumatalakay sa mga issue ng ating lipunan. Mga issue na dapat nating pakialaman. Mga issue na may malaking kaugnayan sa ating kapaligiran. At mga issue na may kaugnayan sa ating gobyerno. Issue 101. Narito ang inyong tagapagsalita. Issue 101. You're with Senior Simo. Senior Simo. Senior Simo. Issue 101.
Luzon! Ay muli! Luzon! Visayas! At Mindanao! Buong bansa buong Pilipinas, buong mundo na may Pilipino. Welcome sa isa namang live stream ng araw ngayon na Martes sa 26 ng Mayo, taong 2026, May 26, 2026, Tuesday! Kumusta po kayong lahat dyan? Umasa ako na nasa mabuti po kayong kalagayan. Malulusog ang inyong pangangatawan. Welcome sa isa na naman pong live stream. Ito po ang inyong lingkod na si kung saan tatalakayin natin sa live stream na ito ang nangyari kanina sa Senado, mga kaisyo. Hindi ko ito nasubaybayan kasi pauwi na po ako galing sa trabaho. Ang nangyari, nagkasagutan na naman ang mga kasapi ng Mayorya at ang mga kasapi ng Minorya dahil sa panukala ni Senador Rodante Marcoleta na pahintulutan ang sino mang senador na sumali sa talakayan sa plenaryo via online. Hindi ito nagustuhan ng Minorya, mga kaisyo, kaya ang mga miyembro ng Minorya na humingi o nanawagan na ibalik ang dignidad sa Senado, mga kaisyo, lumabas ang totoong kulay, nag-walk-out. Nag-walk-out ang mga kaisyo. Kaya yan ang ating pag-uusapan sa episode natin na ito. At kung gusto nyong sumali sa ating talakayan, pwede po kayo magpahayag dyan sa pamagitan po ng ating group chat. At kung wala po tayong live stream at may naisip kayong topic na gusto nating tatalakayin sa ating live stream, o kaya ay gusto nyong magbahagi, mga kaisyo, pwede po yan ninyong i-post sa itinatag po nating group page sa Facebook. So bisitahin nyo lang po, hanapin nyo lang po ang group page natin na ito. Ba't ito ang lumabas, mga kaisyo? Okay. Ito, mga kaisyo, ang ating official group page, ang mga kaisyo sa issue 101. Sa magitan po ng group page na ito, pwede po kayong sumali sa talakayan o mag-post o magbahagi, mga kaisyo, ng anuman ang inyong mga karanasan at nalalaman at gusto nyong mangyayari sa ating bansa, mga kaisyo. At maliban dyan, mga kaisyo, huwag po kalimutan na mag-like sa video na to. I-click nyo po ang subscribe button at ang notification bell, sana all, para kayo ang mapapalahanan kung sakasakaling tayo may live stream katulad nito. At huwag po din nyo kalimutan na i-follow nyo po at i-like ang ating Facebook fan page, pati na rin ang ating X account. At Senyor Simon po ang mga pangalan niyan, mga ka-issue. And without any further ado, puntahan na natin ang ating talakayan sa episode natin na ito, mga ka-issue, ng sama pong yung likod na si
Senior Simo. Issue 101. Senior Simo.
Iterate for the record the proposal to amend Rule 14, Section 41, Senate Session. The proposal, Madam President, is by way of an additional paragraph, Section 41C, after Section 41B of Rule 14 of the Senate Rules, which will state as follows. Section 41C, allow a senator for justifiable reasons to attend and participate in the session through teleconference, video conference, or other reliable forms of remote or electronic means using appropriate information and communication technology. I so move, Madam President.
Okay, mga kaisyo, to clarify, ito po ang sinabi ni Senador Marcoleta na gusto niyang ipa-amend. Ito po tinatawag nilang section or rules 14, Section 41. Kung saan nakasaad kasi dito, mga kaisyo, na pwedeng mag-convene and hold decision through teleconference, video conference, or other reliable forms of remote or electronic means. So, pakinggan natin ulit yung bahagi ng panukala mga kaisyo ni Senador Rodante Marcoleta kung anong pong bahagi doon ang gusto niyang ipa-amend. Take note po, this is just a proposal mga kaisyo. Para mayroon po tayong background at dito ay atin pong masaksihan kung sino talaga ang salot sa Senado. Ito bang tinawag nilang Judas 13 o ito bang Bulaga 11 mga kaisyo? So dito makikita po natin kung sino talaga ang totoong may puso na gustong iangat ang dignidad ng Senado. Kasi itong Minorya, itong Bulaga 11 mga kaisyo, palagi po nilang sinasabi na ibalik ang dignidad ng Senado. Pero dito at sa pamamagitan po ng talakayan na ito natin, malalaman at masaksihan nyo po mga kaisyo kung sino talaga ang buwisit. Ang mga buwisit sa Senado mga kaisyo. Ulitin lang natin, pakinggan si Senador Marcoleta sa kanyang panukala mga kaisyo kasi ito po ang naging simula ng sagutan na nangyari kanina mga kaisyo. Unfortunately, hindi ko ito nasaksihan live kasi pauwi na po tayo galing sa trabaho as what I've mentioned earlier. Di ba?
Recognized to explain his proposed motion, Madam President.
We recognize Senator Rodante Marcoleta.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I would just like to reiterate for the record the proposal to amend Rule 14, Section 41, Senate Session. The proposal, Madam President, is by way of an additional paragraph, Section 41C, after Section 41B of Rule 14 of the Senate Rules, which will state as follows. Section 41C, allow a senator for justifiable reasons to attend and participate in the session through teleconference, video conference, or other reliable forms of remote or electronic means using appropriate information and communication technology. I so move, Madam President.
Okay, so gusto lang idagdag by means of a proposal dito sa existing na Senate rules ng Senado mga kaisyo kung saan nakalagay na dagdagan ng dagdag na paragraph. So following after this paragraph mga kaisyo ay magdagdag sila ng paragraph C na pahintulutan ang sinong mang senador na sumali sa sesyon via teleconference. Session means mga kaisyo is sa plenaryo, no? Ito kasi ay ginawa na noong panahon ng pandemya. And that is why itong force majeure o itong national emergency ay pwede silang magkaroon ng sesyon sa pamamagitan ng teleconference o ng Zoom application o kaya Google Meet ba kaya na hindi kailangan na pumunta physically ang miyembro ng Senado o sino mang senador mga kaisyo doon sa session hall nila. Ito ang panukala kasi ni Senador Marcoleta mga kaisyo. So, ituloy natin dito na magsimula mga kaisyo ang mga sagutan.
We take note of the motion of Senator Rodante Marcoleta. I recognize Senator Ping
Yes,
Lacson.
thank you, Madam President.
Ito ang unang tumayo mga kaisyo ay si Senador Pinky Lacson mga kaisyo. Okay.
This is a parliamentary inquiry. What is the status of the motion introduced by the Honorable Marcoleta last May 11? Has it been referred to the Committee on Rules?
I am told that it's been referred to the Committee on Rules, Majority Leader.
Okay.
Yes, it has been referred to the Committee on Rules, and that's why in this particular deliberation, the Committee on Rules is giving it back to the floor for a plenary action, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Has the Committee on Rules been constituted?
I believe that Senator Joel Villanueva is the acting Majority Leader
Yes.
and would be the best position to
Okay.
answer
Thank
the
you, Madam
question.
President.
In the meantime, I recognize Senate President Cayetano.
Madam Chair, with the permission of Senator Villanueva, so the Committee on Rules is not reporting out the
No, my
the
question, Mr.
proposal.
President. I'm sorry,
Yes.
Madam President. With your permission, my question is, has the Committee on Rules been constituted?
Yes. So, Madam President, the answer there is the same answer to the question of Senator Pangilinan and former Senate President Soto, that in accordance with Section 19, this the same. They continue to function. Having said that, I was explaining that the motion of Senator Villanueva was not for the Committee on Rules to report out what was referred to them, but to return to the plenary. Because if you look at Section 136 of our rules, the rules may be amended by means of a motion which should be presented at least one day before its consideration, and a vote of majority senators present shall be required for its approval. So,
Itong rules na to mga kaisyo, balikan natin yung Senate rules. Kasi pinaliwanag dito ni Senador Cayetano na hindi kailangan. Section, ano ba yun? Section 135. Okay, nakapin na lang natin. Section 135. Ito. Supplementary rules. Hindi ba ito? 136. Ito. Rule LI 51. Section 136. So ito po yung pinaliwanag ni Senador or ni Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano kay Ping Lacson. Kasi ang punto ni Ping Lacson mga kaisyo, for our information, ay gusto niyang malaman kung ang Committee on Rules ba na dapat didinig nitong panukala ni Senador Marcoleta ay mayroon na ba silang report or committee report para pag-usapan sa plenaryo. Ang paliwanag kasi ni Senador Alan Peter Cayetano, ni Senate President, ay hindi necessary na ito po ay pag-usapan sa Committee on Rules. Kasi nakalagay kasi dito mga kaisyo for our information, sabi dito, at the start of each session in which the senators elected in the preceding election shall begin their term, the President may endorse the rules to the appropriate committee. So ito yung committee for amendment or revision. So talking about endorsing this to the Committee on Rules. Pero sabi, may dagdag pong paragraph dito. The rules may also be amended. May also be amended. Sa paanong paraan mga kaisyo? By means of a motion which should be presented at least one day. This was proposed mga kaisyo during May 11th session. Sa session nila noong Mayo 11, which is ipaliwanag naman dito. No, at least one day before its consideration o bago ito pag-usapan mga kaisyo. May be amended by means of a motion, not just necessarily means na doon lang pwedeng pag-usapan ang proposal, amendment o revision mga kaisyo sa Senate rules. Mga kaisyo? Balikan natin si Senador Alan Peter Cayetano.
you do not need the endorsement nor the forwarding of the Committee of Rules for the amendment of the Committee on
Sabi ko. Okay.
for the amendments of the rules. So the only requirement is that it is put on the floor at least one day before, or the proposal is made, and that a majority of the senators present will vote for its approval. So I just wanted to clarify that, just so that we don't have any miscommunication that whether or not the Rules Committee met, who are the members, etc. Because right now that's irrelevant, because we have given back to the plenary the proposal. Yeah.
Very clear. Thank you, Senate
Madam
President.
President,
Senator Lacson recommends.
does it mean that we are now disregarding the committees of the Senate?
Ay, nako. Gaslighting si Senador Lacson dito mga kaisyo. Ano ulit, Senador Lacson? Talaga ito si Senador Lacson gumagawa ng kwento. This is sort of gaslighting mga kaisyo. Ay, nako.
Madam President,
Senator Lacson recommends.
does it mean that we are now disregarding the committees of the Senate?
Hindi disregarding the committee. Sinabi nga, nasa Senate rules nga na pwede naman pag-usapan yung amendments, yung proposal o revision doon sa Senate rules through the plenary. Hindi na kailangan pang dumaan sa committee. Kasi talaga tong klaseng, hindi naman abogado kasi itong si Senador Lacson mga kaisyo, na kung sa anong sinabi, mamaya mapapanood natin yon. Sinabi ni Marcoleta na tungkol yung sumabat si Risa Hontivirus mga kaisyo. Problema kasi pag hindi hindi nag-aral ng batas. Grabe.
So the committee chairman,
So ito ha, makikita po natin dito sino sino sa mga senador nasa majority ba o nasa minority ba ang gumagawa ngayon ng mga kalokohan, ng mga kaguluhan, gumagawa ng paraan upang magkagulo at hindi sila hindi sila magkausap ng maayos ba? Oh. This proves ito.
or the chairman of any committee, including the Rules Committee, may just report out any
Hindi nga kailangan, buisit talaga tong si Pinky Lacson.
any motion or any resolution referred to it in plenary, and then just, it is within his power to just report it out by himself without any deliberation in the committee, without any committee report. Is that the new rule now, Mr. President? Madam
It is
President?
clearly
Hindi talaga makakaintindi itong si Pinky Lacson. Binasa nga ni Senate President Cayetano yung rules mismo. Balikan natin mga kaisya yung rules. Ito talagang basta hindi kasi nag-aral ng maayos sa batas mismo ng rules of the Senate mga kaisyo. Nakalagay dito, the rules may also be amended, not necessarily means has to pass by the committee for amendment or revision. The President may endorse the rules to the appropriate committee for amendment or revision, or the rules may be amended by means of a motion which should be presented at least one day before its consideration. And then, the vote of the majority of the senators present in the session shall be required for its approval. Talaga itong, ay nako, wag na ninyo itong iboto ulit itong mga gagong senador.
There's no new rule. I read the rule.
Yeah.
Senator Lacson is referring to resolutions or
Motions.
communications or anything referred to the committee on rules. We're talking about a motion to amend the rules. We had the option of taking it up, but since everyone asked for one more day, it was given to the Committee on Rules. The Committee on Rules has an option to take it up, but the acting majority leader or acting chairman of the committee gave it back to plenary, and the plenary is more, how do I put it?
Supreme.
Supreme, thank you, Senator Lacson, over the committee. So we didn't disregard the committee. It is our choice from the start whether we want to give it to the committee or not. So when we give it, so for example, I have a motion now to to extend the session to June 12 instead of June 5. That could be given to the Committee on Rules, or upon coordination with the House, the plenary can decide it directly, or we can give it to the Committee on Rules, and after he talks to the House of Representatives, he can even report it out, or he can easily, legally, morally, just say that I am tossing it back to the plenary, which is what's happening today.
Thank
It's
you,
not
Madam
a new rule.
President. That is assuming that there was no referral. But in this case, and I'd like to invite the attention of the body to Journal number 62, dated May 11.
Ay, visit talaga ito. Siya pa nga ang nagsabi na ang plenary ang superior. So kahit pa ito po ay tinalakay sa committee, pwede nilang i-bypass yung committee. Pwedeng i-bypass yung committee para doon na lang direkta pag-usapan sa plenaryo. Talagang, ay nako.
2026. And if I may read the particular portion of this journal, proposed at 6:25 p.m., the session was resumed. Proposed amendment to the rules of the Senate. Senator Marcoleta proposed an amendment to Rule 14, Senate sessions of the rules, by inserting a new paragraph C under Rule 41, which reads, A or C, allow a senator for justifiable reasons to attend and participate in the session through teleconference, video conference, or other reliable forms of remote or electronic means using appropriate information and communications technology. Now, here's the portion, Mr. President, or Madam President. While expressing no objection to the proposal, Senate President Cayetano A suggested giving the Committee on Rules time to discuss the matter. Now, my question is, was there any discussion by the Committee on Rules? Apparently, there was none, because it's now being reported out by the acting majority leader without consultation with any of the members. And by the way, Madam President, wala pang Committee on Rules eh.
I believe that it was mentioned, and I will reiterate from my understanding that there was no Committee on Rules meeting because that motion is reverted back to plenary.
Madam
Meaning, we are not ignoring the fact that, of course,
Reverted nga. Talaga tong mga tao talagang na gumagawa na lang talaga ng kwento para lalong gugulo yung usapin mga ka-issue o yung pinag-usapan.
committees must hold meetings. But this particular motion is being referred back to plenary. And may we just put on record, it says in rule or section 136, the rules may also be amended by means of a motion which should be presented at least one day, and we're complying with that, before its consideration, and the vote of the majority of the senators present in the session shall be required for its approval. I believe that is what the Senate President had explained.
Evidently, Madam President, action was taken. And the action was to refer it to the Committee on Rules since the position of Majority Floor Leader was vacated. So how can the committee properly function in the absence of a committee?
Wala ngang committee, kaya ibinalik sa plenaryo. Grabe talaga itong si Lacson, mga kaisyo. Wala ngang committee, kaya't ibinalik sa plenaryo. Eh paano nga kung pag-usapan wala ngang committee? Eh, sa plenaryo na lang kasi may option naman na pwede itong pag-usapan sa plenary.
Yeah, of the committee members.
As the
Now,
Senate
I'll invite-
President had stated,
Let me finish,
there is a
Madam
rule
President.
of a continuing operations of the committee.
But they
while
were
the new
vacated,
head has
Madam
not been.
President. Walang members ang Committee on Rules. So we cannot invoke continuity because we vacated all committees, all positions, including the members. And may I invite you to Section 24 of our rules, Madam President. The committees shall hold meetings to discuss, decide, and submit a report on all matters transmitted to them.
Lumayo na si Lacson, mga kaisyo. Lumayo na si Lacson. Pumunta na siya doon sa necessity for the committee to discuss sa rules. Siya pa nga nagsabi na superior ang plenaryo. So dahil walang committee, ibinalik sa plenaryo. So ang plenaryo na ngayon ang mag-usap-usap kasi nakalagay naman doon sa Senate rules nila na pwede namang pag-usapan ang mga amendments ng kanilang rules sa pamamagitan ng plenaryo.
This was transmitted to the Committee on Rules. So the committees shall hold, including the Committee on Rules, shall hold meetings to discuss, decide, and submit a report. There's no report, Mr. President or Madam President.
Madam President.
So we're violating our own rules.
We recognize Senate President.
Yeah, Mr. President, the chair already made the ruling and it's not appropriate to argue with the...
Ito kasi makinig po kayo ng mabuti, mga ka-issue natin. Mga 50 nanonood, 20 nanonood sa atin dito. Dito, mga ka-issue, mapupuna na natin kung bakit matatawag nating magulo ang Senado, kasi itong 11 bulaga senators, gumagawa talaga sila ng paraan upang gugulo yung mga pinag-uusapan nila. As simple lang itong panukala ni Senador Marcoleta. Tapos mamaya makikita po natin kung bakit nag-walk-out itong mga makapal ang mukhang mga mukha ng mga minorities, mga ka-issue. Makilala, makikita niyo po mamaya kung sinong senador ang nag-uudyok na mag-walk-out sila. At yung nag-uudyok pa, mga ka-issue, ay yung mamaya na lang para at least surprise sa inyo, mga ka-issue.
Chair, because as explained to Senator Lacson, the committee did not report it out. He read the journal of May 11, but he did not read the motion of Senator Joel today. His motion today was pursuant to Rule 136 of the rules, a motion to amend the rules, meaning if Joel was no longer the majority leader, if I was the majority leader now, or even an ordinary member, that motion was carried. No one objected that we take it up. Because, Madam Chair, we're bringing it back to plenary. So natural po, walang discussion sa Committee on Rules. Kasi wala naman po sa rules natin na kailangan i-discuss sa Committee on Rules. We did that on May 11 so that everyone will have an opportunity to study the rule. It's a very simple amendment. So we should go to the discussion of the amendment if anyone is objecting to the amendment. But
Discussion lang. Hindi pa nga approval. Discussion pa lang, take note ha. This is turned over to the plenary dito sa sesyon nila, mga ka-issue, para pag-usapan nila kung sang-ayon ba sila o hindi. Simple lang. Simple lang.
definitely, the right to propose an amendment is a right guaranteed by our rules. Senator Marcoleta has an amendment. We should go to discussing the merits or demerits of having that rule. You already ruled that it is proper for the plenary to take it up. So may I request or move that we, if there are any objection, we discuss their objection.
I'm objecting. That's the effect of my manifestation, Madam President. I'm objecting because I'm invoking Section 24 of our rules. And as I read into the records, the Journal of May 11, 2026. Na-refer po ito sa Committee on Rules. And there was no discussion.
So ang objection niya, this is my understanding, ang objection dito ni Pinky Lacson mga kaisyo is to scrap totally the proposal dahil hindi pa ito dumaan daw sa Committee on Rules, sa Committee on Rules ha. Ito po ang pagkaintindi ko mga kaisyo dito sa objection ni Senador Pinky na dapat muna daw na ito'y pag-usapan sa Committee on Rules na klaro naman sa Senate Rules na nakalagay doon na pwede naman silang pag-usapan ang mga amendments o revision sa kanilang rules mga kaisyo by the plenary. Directly sa plenary, hindi na dadaan sa committee. Sa committee ba mga kaisyo or sa Committee on Rules. Klaro doon. Sa rules mismo nila mga kaisyo.
Action was taken actually by this body.
Then, Madam Chair, if there's an objection, may I move that we divide the House?
Point of order, Madam President.
On that issue, not on the issue of whether or not the rule is good. Your issue is whether or not it's proper to take it up on the floor.
Okay ha, ito ha. Klaro na. Yung motion ni Senador Alan Peter Cayetano dito mga kaisyo, this is very, very clear. The motion is to divide the house, divide the floor. Hati-hation daw yung sahig. Sahig sa dahil. Hati-hation daw yung sahig. Hati-hatiin daw yung bahay. Kasi may objection. Yung motion niya ay let's divide, let's vote whether it is improper, it is necessary. It is necessary na dapat dumaan pa sa Committee on Rules bago ito pag-usapan sa plenaryo or direkta na sa plenaryo and sapat na. Ito yung motion ha. Ito yung motion ni Senate President Cayetano.
The position of the majority is that there's no rule being violated. So we will vote. The presiding officer has already ruled, but the gentleman continues to object. So we have to vote on it. We're not voting on the amendment yet. We're voting on whether the amendment is proper or not.
Yes, interjection, Madam President.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Ito si Tutasen naman.
Senator Soto.
We will have to support that resolution or thinking of Senator Lacson, which is we did not constitute the Committee on Rules. So what are
Ay di magbutuhan na nga kayo. Gago talaga tong isa pa tong gago mga kaisyo. Isa pa tong tuta na nagtatakip sa mga sangkot sa flood control project anomalies. Si Lacson nagtatakip sa mga sangkot sa flood control project anomalies. Pinoprotektahan si Romualdez, pinoprotektahan si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos.
we discussing right now? I suggest that we constitute the Committee on Rules and discuss it there. How do I know?
Butuhan nga. Si Gossip Central, butuhan nga ni...
Ako minority leader hindi ako member ng rules. Ex officio Tumawag ba? Hindi. Ano to? Binabraso?
Point of order, Madam Chairman.
Ito na. This shows, no? Na itong mga minority sa Senado, mga kaisyo, sila talaga ang gumagawa ng drama. Para magkagulo. Para gugulo. Simple lang yung yung motion ni Senador Alan Peter Cayetano. Pasensya na po kung hahaba ulit itong live stream natin ngayon mga kaisyo kasi ang sarap talakayin ito. At para din ito sa inyo mga kaisyo, ating mga masugid na mga taga-subaybay sa channel natin na ito. Dito makikita po natin kung sino talaga ang gumagawa ng paraan upang hindi aangat yung dignidad ng Senado. Klaro naman yung motion. Simple lang. Okay. Sige, magbotohan tayo. Anong ginagawa ni Naping at ni Tutasen? Ni Pinky at ni Tutasen, mga kaisyo? Objection. Okay, ito si Pinky. Objection. Okay, mayroong objection. Bumalik kay SP Cayetano. Sige, kung dahil may objection, magbutuhan tayo. Ito, interject. Si Tutasen. Ang interjection niya, ay hindi pwede yan. Dapat talakayin mo na yung proposal doon sa Committee on Rules. Yung motion nga ni Senador Alan Peter Cayetano, ni SP Cayetano, whether tama ba na ito'y idaan muna sa Committee on Rules o direkta na sa plenaryo, direkta na sa sesyon, according mismo sa kanilang Senate rules. Kung nagbutuhan na sila, wala na. Hindi na magkaroon pa ng sigawan, hindi na magkaroon pa ng walkout. Puwisit talaga itong mga minority senators, mga kaisyo.
Where in the rules does it say that an amendment has to pass the Committee on Rules?
Section 24, Madam President.
Anong sabi po sa Section 24?
The committee shall hold meetings to discuss, decide, and submit a report on all matters transmitted to them.
Madam
And this-
Chairman, that's
thank
not
you.
the rule. The rule
Yes.
is 136.
136.
So
Can you please, for the third time, may we request the Senate President to read into the record
the rules
Rule
may be amended
136.
by means of a motion which would
Klaro naman. Yung sinabi ni Lacson dito na i-refer to the Committee on Rules. Paano kung walang Committee on Rules? Paano kung hindi pa na-organize ang Committee on Rules? Isn't it proper for the Committee on Rules o sino man ang tinalagang chairman ng Committee on Rules to turn it over? Turn it back. Ibalik ito sa plenaryo? Isn't it proper? Nasa kanilang Senate rules naman na pwede nilang pag-usapan ito sa plenaryo. Naku.
be presented at least 1 day before its consideration, and the vote of the majority of the senators present in the session hall shall be required for its approval. So I respect their objection. But how do we determine objections in this Senate? We vote. So if there is an objection, they have already explained their position. We have explained our position. I move that we divide the House, Madam Chair.
Divide the House. Simple lang, simple. Let's vote. Hindi ba napakaganda? Kung sinang-ayunan nila, sige, magbotohan lang tayo para malaman kung sino ang pabor at sino ang ayaw. Sino ang tutol. Simple. Ba't pa pinarating nila na magsigawan sila, magkasagutan sila, pumasok pa yung bendalong bobo na hindi nag-iisip? Mamaya makikita natin, mga kaisyo. Tapos may nag-o-joke pa na mag-walkout sila. Kaya magulo ang Senado because of these 11 senators, mga kaisyo.
Mr. President.
Probably, hindi na lang natin isama si Guerrero, mga kaisyo. Kasi Committee on Silence yang si Guerrero.
We are several members of the minority here, and only Senator Lacson has spoken. Why are we railroading this process, Mr. President? I have a number of issues that I'd like to raise regarding this motion, Mr. President. They are citing Section 136, assuming, for the sake of argument, that...
Gumagawa na naman. Isa pa tong gaslighter na to si Kiko Pangilinan. Bakit daw si Pinky Lacson lang daw, mga kaisyo? Sonny Hayong 4828. Ba't to Tagalog? Sandali lang. Si Migs nakatanggap din ng malita. Sandali lang, ha. Ba't ito nag-i-English? Si Migs daw nakatanggap ng suitcase. Pasensya na kung bakit tinitranslate ito ng aking... Sonny Hayo, nakatanggap din ng malita. Bakit? Ito, gumagawa na naman ito si Kiko Matching ng kwento. Bakit daw si Pinky Lacson lang daw pinagsasalita galing sa Minorya? Gusto pa daw niyang magsalita. Ay, nako.
Their position is correct. The second paragraph, Mr. President, says the rules may also be amended by means of a motion, which should be presented at least 1 day before its consideration. We submit, Mr. President, that the earlier motion that was entered or was referred to the Committee on Rules. This is a new motion, Mr. President, and therefore we have to take consideration of the 1 day requirement before we can act on it, Mr. President. And that should be, if not tomorrow, because we don't have any session tomorrow, that should be on Monday, Mr. President. Again, let me reiterate. The rules may also be amended by means of a motion, which should be presented at least one day before its consideration. We submit that the motion that was mentioned last May 11 was referred
Yes.
to the Committee on Rules.
Yeah.
This is a new motion, Mr. President, that is being presented on the floor, which
Ay nako, binalik nga. Buisit talaga. Binalik nga, 'di ba? Sabi ni minority leader, ay majority leader itong si Villanueva. Siya din ang tinuturong committee chair ng Committee on Rules. O, ibinalik niya sa plenaryo para pag-usapan kaagad. O, ito namang si Kiko Matching, gumagawa na naman ng kwento na bago daw na naman daw itong motion ni Senador Marcoleta. Hindi ito yung motion na kanyang ni-raise noong 11th of May. Iba na naman daw ito. Gaguhan talaga itong mga 11 buisit. Wag na lang natin, sabi ko kanina, wag lang nating isali si Guerrero. 10 na lang, 10. Ganyan lang gagawin nila pag hindi, ano ba to? Ba't ito mag-English? Ganyan lang gagawin nila pag hindi pabor sa kanila. Walk out. Oh, tama ka, Sonny Hoyo. Ganyan din gagawin nila sa probably. May punto kaya niyan, Sonny Hayo 4828. May punto kanyan. Posible na ganito din ang gagawin nila. And they will think na katulad nung nangyari kay Erap na impeachment. Natatandaan nyo? Yung nag-walk-out ang mga private prosecutors. Tapos nagkaroon ng people power. Ng EDSA people power 2. EDSA 2. Posible na itong senaryo na ito ay gagawin ulit ng mga this time itong 11 mga gawin na lang nating 10 mga hindi natin isama si Guerrero. They will do thinking na gagana ang kanilang magiging people power mga kaisyo.
requires that it be presented one day before it is considered. And therefore, we have to consider this motion on Monday, Mr. President.
As explained by the acting majority leader, the motion of Senator Marcoleta has been brought to the plenary, and
Referred.
both the majority and the minority had mentioned Rule Section 136, and it says that the vote of the majority of the senators present in session shall be required for the
Madam
approval.
President.
I believe that this rule has been mentioned more than 5 times.
Madam President,
I
may-
believe also that the interpretation of the rule is different. So I take note of the manifestation of Senator Pangilinan.
May,
Mr. President,
may-
if I may just continue, Mr. President. All in previous...
Senator
in-
Lacson actually has the floor.
Yes, with the permission of Senator Lacson.
Senator Lacson has the floor.
But-
May we continue with the manifestation of Senator Lacson, and then
Yeah.
after him, he will yield to Senator Pangilinan.
Madam President, the invocation of the Senate President of Rule 136 is premised on the assumption that there was no action taken. But we took action. We referred it to the Committee on Rules. So Section 24 now applies, Madam President. We're going to just ram down our throat something that numbers can dictate,
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
President.
Yes, Senate
Yes,
President.
Madam Chair,
Cayetano.
first of all, we're just repeating the arguments. I respect his argument, but I disagree with it. Secondly, they've used already 3 words: ram down their throat, railroaded, binabraso. In this democratic institution, when we disagree, we vote. When we have rules, we follow the rules. The particular rule in amending the rules is 136. We're following that. So why are we using unparliamentary language to express or try to provoke the kind of argument we don't want between the majority and minority? You have your opinion, we respect that, we have our opinion. So how do we resolve that? By voting. Now, if you think we violated the rule, then go to court. But we do not think that we violated the rule. It is very clear. So my point of order, Madam Chair, they're out of order by insisting that there's another rule except for 136. So I move that we vote on it, Madam Chair. We divide the House.
Objection. Objection.
If there's an objection, then we vote. So may we proceed with the vote, Madam President?
Mr. President, I was earlier, it was a manifestation of the presiding officer, the Madam Chairperson, that after Senator Lacson, I be allowed to speak, Mr. President. Are we now curtailing my right to speak, Mr. President?
Madam Chair,
We are
can
not
I
able
answer
to
that?
ask questions as to why we are amending the rules. We are not able to ask questions as to who they wish,
Madam Chair, may I answer?
who will benefit from the amendment to
Ito na. Ito na. Dahil hindi sila mananalo sa botohan, they will do a drama. Ito ha. Dahil hindi sila mananalo kasi sa botohan, gumagawa na sila ng drama. This is the drama na gusto nilang ipakita na curtail sila, hindi sila makapagsalita, binabraso sila, wala silang hindi sila binigyan ng pagkakataon magsalita. Nakita nyo ba mga kaisyo? Nakita nyo ba na hindi sila pinagsasalita ni Senador Loren Legarda? Nakita nyo ba? Are they simple lang kay SP Cayetano? Let's divide the house. Pagbotohan natin ito dahil may objection kayo. Let each and every one of us speak. Pagbotohan natin ito. Pero itong mga madramang mga minority, anong pinagagawa nila? Gumagawa na sila ngayon ng eksena na para bang pinagkaitan sila ng pagkakataon na magpaliwanag o magsalita. This is, tama si Sonny Hayo dito, this is a ano ba tawag ito? A sneak preview of what will happen during the impeachment trial mga kaisyo pag hindi sila sumang-ayon doon sa posibleng mga rules o posibleng mga mayroong objection tapos sabihin na objection sustained or objection overruled. Pag hindi nila sila sang-ayon, mag-walk out ang mga to. Dahil hindi sila mananalo sa numero. And this is what they want to do. This is a preview of what will happen during the impeachment trial. Itong mga senador na ito na hindi nag-iisip ng kapakanan ng taong bayan. Ang gusto lang nila ay gumagawa ng mga kadramahan para mapilitan ang majority na sumang-ayon sa kanilang kagustuhan. Ito ba para mga batang nagtatantrum ba? Itong minority na ito.
To the rules.
For the
Is this
kind
rule, Mr.
information
President?
of
Is this
the-
rule, Mr. President, for
I
Senator
was about to
Bato, who is not
recognize
here?
Senator
We would
Pangilinan.
like to raise these valid questions, Mr. President, before we go into a vote, Mr.
Madam Chair.
President.
Hindi nga pinagsalita yung presiding officer. Hindi nga pinagsalita si Senador Loren Legarda. Pinadaan lang ni Kiko Matching sa sigaw-sigaw niya. Katulad ito sa ginawa niya kay Senador Robin Padilla. Pataasan ng boses ba? Kasi alam niya na wala siyang argumento. Kagaguhan lang ang pinagsasabi nitong si Kiko Matching.
Yes,
We should not be...
how can the presiding officer recognize Senator Pangilinan? Please know that I would never curtail your right to speak. Just as in 2004, I believe you were seated. And I was a vice presidential candidate of FPJ then, and my microphone was closed, and my right to speak was closed, was not given. I remember that time now, and the word noted was said to me. That will not happen now. I will not do that to you. And I'm not curtailing your right to speak, Senator Pangilinan, except
Nagagaslight kasi itong si Senador Kiko Pangilinan mga kaisyo, Kiko Matching. Kinlan natin sila sa kanilang totoong pangalan mga kaisyo. Nagagaslight sila. Gumagawa sila ng hindi naman totoo. Gumagawa sila ng kwento, gumagawa sila ng istorya na hindi naman totoo. Binabraso, binubuli, pinagkaitan daw sila ng pagkakataon na makapagsalita.
that you were speaking at the same time. And I was about to recognize you because Senator Lacson had the floor.
Thank you, Madam President, for
So
the
I just wanted to be clear on record because I recognize you're being emotional, but it will go on Senate record that the presiding officer was curtailing your right to speak. I would never do that, and I would not do what I experienced in 2004 in the House of Representatives in the canvassing of the votes then.
Mr. President,
Thank you.
Madam President, with due respect, Mr. President, I was not referring to the
Madam
presiding
President,
officer.
Yeah, I'm yielding the floor to Senator Pangilinan.
Yes, thank you, Senator Lacson. We recognize Senator Francis Pangilinan.
Yes, Mr. President, and allow me to clarify, Madam President. I was not referring to the presiding officer in terms of the curtailing of my right to speak and to raise questions, Mr. President, because it was
Ay, sos. Grabe, no? This is the kind of minority senators we have. Nagagaslight, gumagawa ng kwento, ha? Gumagamit ng mga salita na hindi naman tama. Grabe.
the Senate President who was
Nag-iingay pa, I mean sumisigaw pa.
moving to divide the House, Mr. President, without sufficient debates. Mr. President, this is the first time I'm going to experience this in a long time wherein debates are now being curtailed because there's a
Since you're
motion
not-
Sino bang nagsabi ng Buisit ka kay kumatsing? Narinig ba ninyo ba na wag na sila magdebate? Sige, magbutuhan tayo. O mag-move ka, mag-motion ka na magdebate mo na. Buisit.
to
Being
divide the
curtailed,
House.
we would like to hear your objection to the motion. Thank you.
Mr. President, there are a lot of questions that have to be raised as to why this amendment to the rules is being undertaken at this time. President provides, Mr. President, that when we amend our rules, we do so by way of resolution. We do not have that resolution now. In fact, Mr. President, a total 48 amendments of our rules all went through resolutions. This is the first time after 48 amendments, Mr. President, that we do not have a resolution so that we can
Point of
vote
order, Madam Chair.
and amend the rules properly, Mr.
Point of
President.
order. Point of order takes
Yes,
precedence.
Senate President. Point of order takes
Yes.
precedence.
First
over
of all,
anything else.
I hope we learned our lesson. Senator Pangilinan already apologized to Senator Padilla, then now you're shouting at us. No, no, the record will show, nakatape naman eh. Ang taas-taas ng boses nyo eh. Di ba? You were shouting at kaya nga hindi magkarinigan. Now, what's my point of order? We are not discussing the merits yet of the amendment. No one's curtailing your rights because wala pa tayo doon.
Wala pa. Okay, ito ha. Sige, ituloy muna natin si Senador, si SP.
Eh. Ang pinagbobotohan natin ngayon, kung pwedeng i-take up sa floor o hindi. Yun ang itinatake up natin. And the arguments have already been laid out. And Senator Pangilinan and I were together in 2009 where we had debates here where Senator Enrile did not even allow amendments. And then we voted. It depends on every issue, Madam Chair. There's no specific rule of the amount of time. I was asking the gentleman about certain issues in one resolution. He refused nga for further interpellation and said it's time to vote. They were the majority. So, Madam Chair, we're here. We're willing. Senator Marcoleta is ready to take questions. Ang pinagbobotohan lang po natin ngayon, simple lang. Whether or not we can take, whether or not the proposal to amend the rules is in order. Yung pa lang ho. Yung specific amendment, sino magbe-benefit, paano magbe-benefit, etc. We support the right of Senator Pangilinan to ask questions, pero wala pa tayo dun eh. So,
Kasi inunahan na nila. Gumagawa na sila ng kwento na hindi pa akma dito sa motion na ni-raise ni Senador Cayetano. Hindi pa akma. Pero sila, ingay ng ingay, iyak ng iyak, putak ng putak. Klaro naman yung motion ni Senador Cayetano. Kung sang-ayon ka ba na ito'y pag-usapan sa plenaryo o kaya'y ito ay idaan muna sa Committee on Rules. Simple naman yung panukala niya na para pagbutuhan nila.
again, may I raise the previous question, Madam Chair, the point of order, the parliamentary reason. Go ahead.
Be given the right to
Madam
speak. I am the
President,
movant
kanina pa po
here.
ako nakatayo dito at
I need to
nagtataas ng
speak
kamay.
because I am the movant.
Senator
Madam
Rodante
President.
Marcoleta.
Thank you, Madam
And then we
President.
hear Senator Rizal Ontiveros.
Thank you,
and
Madam
Senator
President.
Problema
Erwin
natin,
Tulfo.
Madam President.
Yes.
The Senate President invoked Section 136, Paragraph 2. Kung babasahin po natin ito, Madam President, napakasimple lang. Ito pong Section 136, Paragraph 2, is a special provision in precisely amending our rules. In Section 24 po, this is a general rule. Kung mapapansin po ninyo, it presupposes that it will take up all the bills referred to that committee. General po yung function niya. 136, second paragraph, is a special provision. Sa principle po ng batas, yun pong special provision takes precedence over a general provision. Yun lang po, basahin po ninyo. Hindi nga po, it will not even take one day because this is not a new motion. Kung mapapansin nyo, nire-iterate ko lang po ito eh. It was already moved last May 11 pa po. So that is even more than one day. So who is talking about one day here? Ang pinag-uusapan po natin, unless we respect Section 136, ang linaw-linaw po, it talks about the rules may also be amended. Diretso po ito eh. So this takes precedence over Section 24. Simple-simple lamang po ito eh.
Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Marcoleta. We recognize Senator Rizal Ontiveros.
Salamat, Madam President. Meron din po akong substantive na
Ito. Nakakatawa itong ambisyosang si Hontivirus, mga kaisyo. Sige. So palpal kasi siya dito ni Senador Marcoleta. Dahil nag-aasta kasing marunong sa batas.
Motion ngayong araw na nire-raise o itatalakayin ni Senator Marcoleta yung text na pinamudmod ni Senate President sa atin ngayong hapon. Pero una, gusto ko pong segundahan yung sinabi ni Senator Pangilinan. Bagong motion ito, Madam President. Bakit po? Sa ilalim ng Section 24, ni-refer yung unang mosyong binanggit ni Senator Marcoleta noon sa Committee on Rules. Ngayon kung sasabihin na ibinalik yung mosyong iyon, yung unang mosyon ni Senator Marcoleta sa plenary, sino ang gumawa nun? Dapat ang Committee on Rules. Na-initiate na po ang prosesong iyon alinsunod sa Section 24. Hindi pa nga po nakukonstitute ang Committee on Rules. Wala pa nga pong minority contingent sa Committee on Rules. So wala pang body na pwedeng ibalik yung unang mosyon ni Senator Marcoleta sa plenary. Kaya ko sinusugundahan ang sinabi ni Senator Pangilinan. Ito pong mosyon na gustong talakayin ni Senator Marcoleta at pinamudmod ni Senate President sa atin, bagong mosyon po siya. Kung kaya't nag-a-apply po ang Rule Section 136 na kailangan bigyan ng isang araw pa pagkatapos ito i-move para talakayin. And tama si Senator Pangilinan, sa Lunes pa po yun, Madam President. Salamat, Madam President.
Madam President,
Ito, sagot si Senador Marcoleta.
without giving meaning to anything. Ito
Senator
pong mahirap kasi kung wala po tayong legal background dito. Kaya sinasabi ko na nga po, hindi po bagong motion ito eh. Hindi siya bagong motion. Kasasabi
Ito, si Bindalo na. Sisigaw na dito si Bindalo, mga kaisyo. Kasi parang ano ba ang kanyang ano ba? Tawag dito sa Tagalog eh. Basta sa Bisaya namin natandog ang iyang garbo ba? Anong Tagalog yan kung mayroong Bisaya na nanonood sa atin dito na marunong mag-Tagalog. Natandog ang iyang garbo ba? Kaya tumayo itong si Erwin Erich Bindalo Tulfo, mga kaisyo, Sylvester Tulfo, dahil dito sa sinabi ni Senador Marcoleta na walang background sa sa batas. Ito.
Kaya sinasabi ko na nga po, hindi po bagong motion ito eh. Yung legal background dito. Kaya sinasabi ko na nga
walang legal background. Okay.
hindi po bagong motion ito eh. Hindi siya bagong motion. Kasasabi ko lang po, May 11, minub ko na po ito. Sino po magsasabi na bagong motion?
Point of order.
Anong sabi dito ni Tambi? Ngayon, sino nagdadrama lang ya talaga? Correct. Pasensya na kung i-English na English talaga, translator talaga itong aking Tama ba yun? Mag-walk-out kayo, wala naman nakipagtalo kay Kiko pa lang. Kita na yung plano nila. Oo. Tama. Sabi ni Romaldi Tambi, Tagalog to pero tinetranslate kasi ng aking dito. Tama ba yon? Mag-walk out kayo. Wala namang nakikipagtalo kay Kiko pa lang. Wala namang nakikipagtalo kay Kiko pa lang. Kita na yung plano nila. Oo. Ito simple lang. Kasi yung damdamin dito nila nung sinabi na walang background kasi sa batas. Background on ano ulit yun? Klaruhin nga natin yun. Saan ba yun? Ito.
Sasabi ko lang po, nasabi ko na nga po, hindi po bagong motion ito. Wala po tayong legal background dito. Kaya sinasabi ko na nga po.
Legal background, walang legal background referring kay Hontivirus, mga kaisyo, na pabida ba? Parang alam niya ang batas.
Hindi po bagong motion ito eh. Hindi siya bagong motion. Kasasabi ko lang po, May 11, minub ko na po ito. Sino po magsasabi na bagong motion?
Point of order. Ad hominem.
Sinasabi ko lamang po. Ang sinasabi ko lang, kanina po sinasabi.
Ito.
Tama yun.
Ito na. Nagdadrama na ang minority. Again, mga kaisya, para sa ngayon lang, ang kinukonsidera kong madrama ay yung 10. Specifically itong si Pinky Lacson, Tutasen, si Kiko Matching, itong si Hontivirus, tapos itong si si Bindalo Tolfo, talagang may mga palayaw itong mga to. Tapos sabi ni Romualdez Tambi dito, tapos porque journalist Erich, may news report daw na may makukulong, alam niya Dawit si Rapi siya ad hom sa mga interview. Dito ad hominem daw. Yung sinabi kasi ni Kuan na walang background sa batas. Amil Himoros scripted na with all the camera. Oo nga. Sila kasi ang madrama. Ba't ito? Tama ba ito? English, no? Sila kasi itong madrama ngayon, gumagawa sila ng paraan upang gugulo yung Senado. Sila lang, simple lang, motion lang. Okay, sangayon ka ba na dito sa plenaryo natin tatalakayan ito? O hindi? Okay. Pag ganun, okay. Talo kasi sila. Tama. Tambi. Hindi talaga ad hom yun. Real talk lang yung sinabi ni Senador Marcoleta. Wala kang background. Sa batas, sa mga legal. Ito na, sigawan na. Dramahan na ng mga walang kwentang minority sa Senado. Yes, tama na magbutuhan sila para maayos. Simple lang. Ginawa ba ito nung minority noon na Senador Alan Peter Cayetano at mga kasamahan niya nung minority pa sila? Ganito ba ang asal nila? Hindi. Pero itong naging minority ngayon, grabe ang asal, mga kaisyo. Nakakabuisit talaga ang mga to. Grabe. Ito.
Walang kinalaman,
walang alam sa batas.
This is what's wrong. Pero sila pa na ibalik ang dignidad, itaas ang respeto para sa Senado, sa institusyon. Pero sila lang. Ito.
Madam Chair.
Balik
Yes,
tayo.
Senator Cayetano.
I'm listening to the two senators, and as I mentioned kanina na wag na tayong gumamit ng brasuhan, etc. And I see the point of Senator Risa, but I'm also listening to Senator Marcoleta. It's kumbaga sa libro, iba yung love language, but I don't think they're meant to be any offense. Having said that, we're only discussing whether we will take up the amendment or not. And we have exhausted already all the arguments. This is a simple motion, so I move that we divide the House. May I reiterate my motion. Then we can go into the merits and they can try to convince us whether or not we agree. So the motion is to take up the amendment to our rules. As
Sa plenaryo, itong ewan ko.
proposed by Senator Marcoleta. The objection is that it is not in order because we did not follow our own rules.
Madam Chair, Madam President,
Before that,
Madam President,
yes, we recognize Senator Erwin Tulfo.
Madam President, my question is, why is the majority
Ito na. Nagdadadrama na. Ito siya si Boy Americano English language. Sabi ni Norman dito, mahirap sa minority, parang latang walang laman, walang alam sa batas. Ethics na mga kung pwede pa lang. Pero ayaw kasi ni SP yan na lalong gugulo ang Senado. Pero sana mamulat itong minority na ang kanilang pinaggagawa ay siyang naging dahilan kung bakit ganito sila sa Senado ngayon. This is not the works of the majority. This is their, sa kanila ito. Kaya't ganito ang nangyayari sa Senado. Sana mamulat sila. na sila mismo, itong minority, ang gumagawa ng mga kadramahan para gugulo sila, para hindi sila magkakaintindihan diyan sa Senado. O, ito na si Erich Bindalo Tulfo.
In such a hurry to tackle this motion, disallowing a senator for justifiable reasons to attend and participate in the session.
Hindi, buwisit talaga tong walang utak bubong si Erich Sylvester Bindalo Tulfo. Ang motion nga is whether they will take the proposal, itong panukala ni Senador Marcoleta, sa floor, sa plenaryo, o ibalik ito sa Committee on Rules. Ito namang isang nagagaslight ulit, gumagawa na naman ulit ng kakaibang kwento na hindi naman nasa kasalukuyang sitwasyon. Hindi ito yung kasalukuyang sitwasyon. Kaya nakakasmile si ate dito. Sabi niya, ano ba to? Gumagawa na naman ng kwento. Ha? Oh. Sabi niya, sabi dito ni Erich
Tackle this motion.
Erwin Erich Sylvester Bindalo Tulfo. Anong sabi niya dito?
Disallowing a senator for justifiable reasons to attend and participate in the session through teleconference. Whereas
Hindi nga ang motion na i-amend ba? Ang motion is whether they will discuss this in the plenary or put it back to the Committee on Rules. That is the motion. Hindi pa yung kabuuan ng panukala. It is not yet the proposal. It's just a motion whether they will tackle this in the plenary or bring it back to Committee on Rules. Whether they are following their tama ba ang kanilang pagsunod sa hakbang na ito na ito'y tatalakayin sa plenaryo o kaya'y dapat dumaan ito sa Committee on Rules. Pero itong si Erwin Erich Sylvester Bobo na Bindalo Tulfo na sinungaling, na isang kriminal na gumagawa ng fake identity sa Amerika, mga kaisyo, gumagawa din dito ng ibang kwento na ang motion daw ay yung proposal. Hindi pa nga yan ang pinag-usapan. Talagang
in Rule 14, Section 41, under B, it says convene and hold a session through teleconference, video conference, or other reliable forms of remote or electronic means using appropriate information and communications technology system due to force majeure, Madam President, or the occurrence of a national emergency.
Lalo nang lumalayo si Erich Tulfo.
I guess, Madam President, this justifiable reason, what is that? Does that fall under force majeure or does it fall under...
Hindi pa. Hay, iba talaga basta bobo yung senador, no? Mas bobo pa ito kung sinabi ninyo mga kaisyo na itong si Committee on Silence, si Guerrero Lito Lapid, ito mas bobo pa to. Yan. Ay, mali. Yan, mas bobo pa yan. Sabi ni Tambi, di mo alam, Erich. Di hindi nga niya maintindihan yung binasa niya mga guys. Basta makabasa lang. Makabasa lang siya, Romualdez Tambi. Basta makabasa lang.
National emergency, Madam President? My question is, why are we in so hurry? Why are they, the majority, in a hurry to tackle this motion and divide...
Ito ha. Makinig kayo mga kaisyo. This is the kadramahan of the minorities. This is the kadramahan of the minorities.
The House, Madam President. We need answers in the minority.
Madam Chair.
Or is it because, Madam Chair, they're in a hurry because of news reports that probably 2 of our colleagues might land in jail this weekend? Is that the reason why? Is that the reason why they have to have this inserted, the Section 41C, para makaboto po kung sino man yung makukulong dahil sa announcement ng ombudsman na may lalabas na po ang warrant ng ilan sa mga kasama natin, Madam President? That is my question, Madam
Madam
President.
Chair, the gentleman is out of order because his question, sa nagmamadali, bakit
Ano, Tambi? Dinaan lang sa American Access. Oh. Dinaan lang sa American Access. Accent. Pero hindi niya alam kung ang kanyang binabasa.
Can
Grabe.
be discussed in the actual motion. Can be discussed after the motion whether we should take it up. We take offense that bibigyan niya ng ganyang kulay. It's just like us saying, are you afraid if we have the hearing on the Blue Ribbon on flood control, mababanggit ka rin?
Nako! Kaya't nag-walk out sila. Balikan natin ha. I-atras natin ha. Oh. Ibig mo bang sabihin, Erich Erwin Tolfo, ayaw mo na ituloy yung investigasyon sa flood control project anomaly sa Blue Ribbon Committee kasi natatakot kang mabanggit ang pangalan mo? Kasi isa ka rin doon sa act, ano ba yun? Basta, sa yung party list ba ni na Tulfo na tumatanggap at pumapaldo din ng mali-malita mga kaisyo.
Just like us saying, are you afraid if we have the hearing on the Blue Ribbon on flood control, mababanggit ka rin? You do not make that kind of statements here in the Senate.
Yan mga kaisyo. Nagsilipara ng yung mga tarantadong minorities. At sino ang nag-o-joke mga kaisyo? Ito, puntahan natin to. Video na to. Sino nag-o-joke?
41C para makaboto po kung sino man yung
tumayo si Senador Ejercito. Kasi siya ang pinagtutukuyan kasi dito sa sinasabi ni Erwin Erich Sylvester Bindalo Tolfo.
dahil sa announcement ng Ombudsman na may lalabas na po ang warrant ng ilan sa mga kasama natin, Madam President. That is my question, Madam
Madam
President.
Chair, the gentleman is out of order because his question sa mamadali, bakit, can be discussed.
So ang nag-o-joke si Mig Subiri. Yung pumalag sa video ni Senadora Amy Marcos. 'Di ba pinag-usapan natin ito noong nakaraang episode natin? Ito. Nag-o-joke. Come on. Buisit talaga 'tong si Mig Subiri. Isa pa 'to. Noong una, independent kami. Pero pumunta din pala doon sa minority kasi ayaw niya na maihayag din ang baho niya. Takot siya na makasuhan. Katulad ng pinaggagawa ng administrasyon ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos dito sa mga senador ng majority. Pinakakasuhan. Anong pinagagawa? Mig Subiri? Nang o-joke ng kanyang mga kasamahan? Come on. Come on. Let's go. Ganito. Si Mig Subiri pa ang nang o-joke na mag-walk-out sila. This is the kind of senators you voted, mga kababayan, mga ka-issue. Walang modo. Ito si Mig Subiri. Diba si Mig Subiri din is mag-graduate na. Magtatapos na ang kanyang termino. Coming 2028. Tapos nung nagsiwalat si Senadora Amy Marcos sa kanyang video. Sa video niya mga ka-issue, video presentation niya. Pumalag. Siya pa yung nag-motion na ipatanggal sa record ng Senado yung video. Dahil daw walang katotohanan na mayroong charter change or no election. Pero nagtaka ako kung bakit ganyan siya kaingay. Nag-abot pa nga yung kilay niya mga ka-issue sa galit niya. Ito, nag-o-joke siya. Come on. Ito si Erwin Erich Tolfo mga ka-issue.
Sir, bakit?
Ba't mo nag-walkout? Pinupuno na tayo eh. Pinagpipilitan nila, naisip-isip na siguro nila dahil lumabas sa media na ilalabas na warrant of arrest.
Oh, drama.
Para makaboto yung mga yun na makukulong kung sino man yun. Para
Sino man yun? Nagsabi kang dalawa, buisit ka.
kung makaboto sila, kung nakakulong man sila.
Motion pa nga na pag-usapan ba sa plenaryo yung panukala o doon sa committee? Bobo.
Common sense, hindi naman tayo tanga, journalist tayo.
Tanga ka. Bobo kang, bindalo kang, gago ka. Nagagabuis itong ganitong mga senador, mga kaisyo. O tuloy natin.
Senate because you assume good faith from everyone. That rule hindi minadili. May 11 pa ho yun. So Madam Chair, I move that we divide the House.
And the voting will be done via Kotse.
Madam President,
Minority Leader.
I move to adjourn or a quorum call.
Issue 101.
Ati sa hayop.
Senior, Sino.
In the end, mga kaisyo, nag-adjourn sila kasi wala nang minority, nag-walk-out na. Oh. Yung last part ng video, mga kaisyo, na nag-motion itong si Senador Tutasen, Tuta Soto, mga kaisyo, ng adjourn kasi wala nang quorum. Sabi ni Ulysses Sonia dito na ESD. Iyak DDS daw. Iyak DDS o iyak ka. Baka ikaw iyak, Ulysses Soni siya. Ulysses Soni siya. Iyak ka. So, kita nyo? Kung sino talaga ang gumagawa ng kababuyan dyan sa Senado para magkagulo sila, mga kaisyo, yung mga Minorya. Simple lang ang motion. In summary simple lang ang motion ni Senador Cayetano. Kung pwede bang talakayin, sang-ayon ba kayong talakayin pagdidibatihan sa floor, sa plenaryo, yung panukalang idagdag doon sa kanilang Senate rules. Simple lang. Yan ang motion, pero umabot pa hanggang sa walkout. Umabot pa hanggang sigawan. Umabot pa hanggang name calling. Umabot pa sa paggamit ng mga salitang hindi angkop o unparliamentary statements. Katulad ng pambabraso, katulad ng hindi binigyan sila ng pagkakataon na magsalita, kadramahan. These are the kinds of senators. Actually, ang ginagawa kasi nila dito, mga kaisyo, ay tawag dito, yung yung minamaniobra ba nila yung sitwasyon sa Senado na kahit sila ay minority, 11 lang sila, mga kaisyo, gumagawa sila ng paraan na para ba na magulo, hindi makapagtrabaho ng maayos ang Senado. Ano man tawag? Nasa dulo ng aking dila. Basta. Anyway, mga kaisyo, tapusin na natin. At least mayroon tayong isang troll, mga kaisyo, na anti-DDS na nandito, si Ulysses Sonisia, na iyak daw ang DDS. Hindi kami umiiyak. Pinapakita lang namin kung sino ang iyakin sa Senado. Anyway, mga kaisyo, marami pong salamat sa mga nanonood po sa atin dito sa ating live stream na it's now, anong oras na ba? Almost 1 o'clock na. 1 minute na lang. It's now 12:59 on this Wednesday morning na May 27, 2026. Yung isa pa nating tatalakayin na satisfaction rating ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Sa susunod na lang yun mga kaisyo, kasi inaantok na din ako. So anyway, hanggang sa muli, ito po ang inyong lingkod na si pansamantala po munang mamaalam para sa ating live stream ng maraming pong salamat sa nakisali sa ating talakayan. Si Mr. Romualdo Estambi, si Norman Nobleza 2162, si Arnel Himoros 40785, tapos saan ba yung isa? Si Sonny Hayo 4828, at itong isang anti-Duterte mga kaisyo na biglang sumulpot, naligaw dito sa ating YouTube channel, pero nevertheless atin pa rin itong i-mention si Ulysses Sonny Sia. Hanggang sa muli, ito po ang inyong lingkod na si Basamantala po munang mamaalam para sa ating live stream ng Nagpaalala, tandaan, mas lamang ang may alam. Bye-bye.
At yan ang Issue 101. Ang hilin natin sa mga kinauukulan ay umaksyon. Hanggang sa susunod, maraming salamat sa inyong pagsubaybay.